some neutral browns and grays. And before we begin, we need some boxes. And I want to make sure I separate these boxes so they don't start bleeding into each other. And the easiest way for me to do this is to use both sides of the ruler. So I just go down both sides, skip a little bit, and it also helps keep it level. And then I will have a space between all my boxes. I don't need to worry that everything's exact. You can measure and have it be exact if you want, but at least I have boxes where everything is separated. I don't have to worry about bleeding. With the grays and the neutrals, you don't need to clean your palette. My palette right now is pretty divided into colors, but if your palette is very messy, it is a great way to start. So if I'm going to grab this one, and if it is more leaning towards the yellows or the warmer ones, it'll be more of a gray. So no matter what color I come up with, this, like this one right here, that's still a brown, but it's kind of a reddish brown. I could add some yellow to it. I'll end up with this. One thing I like about this exercise is just enjoying mixing, seeing what you can do. Now, so far I haven't used the sepia at all. It would be easy to use the sepia with any of these and get browns. Oops, there was a little dot of red there. Let's see what that does to it. It's kind of an orange, isn't it? That's a little bit more orange than brown, so we'll add the sepia so we can see how easy is that. See, that brown is, that sepia brown makes anything brown, so you can add that to anything and get a brown. You can experiment with adding water to it and getting a lighter value. Now I want this green. If I want brown to it, I can add some of this. See what happens there. It's still a green brown. And then you can just fill this whole page up. If I'm mixing grays, and it could be that you mix a color and then test it out and say, is that a gray or a brown, and put it in the right spot. It's totally fine. It's kind of a purpley gray, isn't it? If I add just a touch of that brown, what happens? Does it turn it to brown, or can I keep it in the gray family if I don't add too much? Let's see. Yes, I can keep it in the gray. It's a little bit more warm gray. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to this and see what happens. So if I'm careful and I don't add a lot of this brown to it, I won't end up with a blue brown. Let's see if I can get a gray. I've got a nice blue gray there. Let's see if I add a little bit of red. What will I get? That's pretty interesting gray. Now I could get really light with that if all I do is add water. So I have a wide variety of grays that I can do, and just enjoy this exercise. Take your time mixing. You can do a whole page of each one. I've only done a half for this sample because that's a lot of video time. Now if I grab some yellow and some of that gray that I had over here, what does it make? Can I get a warm gray? Let's test it out before I put it on my... Once I add too much yellow, it starts leaning towards the brown, doesn't it? If I add a little bit of that, let's play with blues and browns. This is what's going to help you be really good at color mixing, is just sitting there and mixing and practicing. So don't skimp on your time. That is a very interesting gray. And you know, we only have these 3 primaries in our sepia. We have 4 paints, but you can get so many colors with these 4 paints. Let's try mixing that brown, that that gray with this. What do we end up with? Is that a gray or a brown? That's more of a brown, isn't it? Let's see. This one is warm. Yep. Now, what if I grab that and I mix it with this? That's definitely a brown. What if I mix it with this? Just have fun mixing. It's a little bit more greenish than that. And if I add a little bit of sepia to it, get a darker brown, because I can use that sepia to make it a darker brown. I can also use it to make a darker gray if I don't use too much of it. I might even need to keep adding some blue to it. But mix your pages and have fun with this.